Welcome friends, revise with me homeopathic materia medica. From Ellen's keynote, the remedy taken up here is Dulcamara. The text is distributed in 8 parts. Part 1 being PQR review. We study each sentence that is taken as PQR or red line symptom. Part 2 deals with general overview, a classical format. Number 3, Part 3 quick recall, a bird's eye view. Part 4 deals with mnemonic for easy recall and remembrance of remedy. Part 5 is review and comparison of first and second grade symptoms, which are taken up from guiding symptoms of our Materia Medica, the source book for Ellen's keynote. Part 6 is review and comparison of first and second grade remedies taken up from rubrics in Kent's repertory. Part 7 will deal with Ellen's PQR and its current clinical correlation, or you can say applied Materia Medica. And Part 8, it deals with MCQ review, which are taken up from Public Service Commission, State Public Service Commission, UPSC Union Public Service Commission, and MT entrance and other examinations. So we are going to deal with the text now. PQR review. Part 1, Ellen's Keynotes, is a source book for BHMS students and interns. This is very specific for them, very good revision for them. So this is the textbook which we are going to follow, and this is the text what is given in Ellen's Keynote about Dulcamara. If you go through this particular text, what you find that it is the text which is taken up from Herring's guiding symptom. The style of writing has symptoms are given in the running text. No grades are given. Each sentence represents a PQR. The drawback and limitation of this text is that it is disorganized in sequence and continuity. So it becomes very difficult for a student to remember the contents in a systematic manner what has been given by Hahnemann, the schema. So once I have gone through it, what I find, Dulcamara has got 10 central ideas. These central ideas are represented in, broadly speaking, 10 PQRs. And again, I am repeating, each sentence represents an idea or a PQR or a red line symptom. So we find the first PQR, Dulcamara is adapted to persons of phlegmatic, scrofulous constitution, restless, irritable. This particular line gives us two components. Number 1, the constitution of Dulcamara, which is phlegmatic and scrofulous. Both constitutions can be there, physically speaking, somatically speaking, and from the mental point of view, patient is irritable. It means that the temperament is irritable of Dulcamara according to Ellen's keynote. Now we go to the PQR2, catarrhal rheumatism or skin affections brought on or by aggravated from exposure to cold, damp, rainy weather or sudden changes in hot weather. So it tells us about the sphere of action of this particular remedy is on catarrhal rheumatism, like sinusitis, which is brought on by exposure to cold, skin affections, all skin eruptions or skin cutaneous symptoms or skeletal symptoms which are brought on by exposure to cold, rainy weather. So this is the diathesis, and it tells us about the complaints. There are 2 heads of complaint, catarrhal rheumatism and skin affections. PQR3 tells Part A tells us about increased secretions of mucous membrane, perspiration being suppressed from cold. So it tells about the elements from perspiration is suppressed from cold. This is the cause. And what happens? Element increased secretion of mucous membrane means sphere of action is on mucous membrane in Dulcamara. Exposure to cold is an exciting cause, triggering cause. What is suppressed? Perspiration is suppressed. Natural discharges are suppressed. So it is a sora is activated. Natural discharges, whenever they are suppressed, it gives rise to flare of sora. PQR3B, the part P or 3 tells us patient living or working in damp, cold basement or milk dairy. So this is the environmental factor which is acting as an exciting or triggering cause. Elements from whatever happens thereafter, it is causation specific kind of a prescription can be carried out for Dulcamara. Now we go to PQR4, mental confusion. Cannot find the right word for anything. This is a mental general, and in mental general, confusion is very important symptom of Dulcamara, and especially the source of confusion is memory lapses. He cannot remember, so he is confused. His orientation of the thinking, thought process is disturbed. So his conclusion will be disturbed. So he cannot decide for. PQR5, skin is delicate, sensitive to cold, liable to eruptions, especially urticaria. Every time patient takes cold or long exposure to cold, so there is a diathesis. Diathesis for liable to skin eruptions, predisposition to have skin eruptions. When especially what kind of skin eruptions? Especially urticaria. Why? Because there is a diathesis of delicate skin which brings about sora is flared up, it throws everything on the skin and comes in the form of urticaria. Every time patient takes cold or long exposed to cold, it is exciting cause. So we have diathesis, elements from, and what is the element? That is urticaria. We go to the next PQR6A, anasarca. After ague, rheumatism, scarlet fever. So anasarca is the presenting feature. Why it happens? Because of there is a kind of exciting cause. What is exciting cause? Especially chronic malaria, rheumatism. If anasarca is there, probably there is a myocarditis or rheumatic heart disease. So we can think about rheumatic fever, and a scarlet fever is also a streptococcal infection in a way. So we go to the 6B, dropsy. It is almost a component of anasarca only, and dropsy is a regional. Anasarca is a systematic edema. So dropsy after suppressed sweat, suppressed eruption, exposure to cold, all these things bring about active phase flare of sora and soric condition. Especially he is telling us about dropsy, and dropsy can be a regional. Regional means there can be hydrothorax, there can be ascites, there can be pedal edema. Why? Suppression of eruption, exposure is exciting cause. We go to PQR7, diarrhea. From taking cold in damp places or during damp, foggy weather, changes from warm to cold weather. So this is a particular general symptom. GIT, we have diarrhea, and exciting cause of diarrhea is there, damp places, damp foggy weather. Now we have PQR8, catarrhaluria in grown-up children with milky urine from bathing with bare feet in cold water, involuntary. So there is urinary problems in growing up children, or you can say in adult, or you can say adolescents with milky urine. It is a kind of chyluria where we have got either there is some sort of depositions in the urine. It can be because of nephrotic syndrome, it can be because of urinary tract infection, or it can be because of there is the fat is present, the chyluria is present. It will depend on the urine examination what is the exact cause. However, we go to the PQR 9A, rash before menses, a very particular important symptom of Dulcamara, particular general in female skin, not a male skin, female skin, and rash before menses. Whenever there is estrogen is going down, progesterone is going up, you have this particular cyclical features, and it becomes very difficult to correlate 2 and 2 4 means whenever the menses are irregular, probably you will be confused. But if you take note before menses, please remember it is because of low estrogen in the system. PQR 9B is again related to skin, urticaria or whole body, no fever, itching, burns after scratching, worse in warmth, better in cold. Again exciting cause we have particular general, we have skin urticaria, and very important is there is better by cold and worse by warmth. We have PQR 9C, belong to skin only. Thick brown yellow crusts on scalp, face, forehead, temple, chin with reddish borders, bleeding when scratched. So this kind of lesions, they come in the facial region. It is a kind of streptococcal infection, impetigo contagiosa. We are talking about impetigo contagiosa here. So it is a expression of that particular entity. It is a pyogenic infection of the skin. Now we go to the viral infection of the skin. PQR10, warts, fleshy, large, smooth on face or back of hand and fingers. So this is a very important psychotic skin phase. On the skin you will find growths, nodules. So Dulcamara has got two components. One is psora is in the background, and secondary miasm here could be psychosis. Let us go to the relationship, and in relationship let us go for complementary relationship to Dulcamara. We have Beritacarb and Kali sulf. The incompatible with Dulcamara are acetic acid, belladonna, lacosis, should not be used before or after. We have follows well remedies after Dulcamara. We have calcarea, bryonia, lycopodium, rustox, and sepia. We have similar remedies. Number one is mercurius, entylism, glandular swelling, bronchitis, diarrhea, susceptibility to weather changes, and night pains. Please remember the night pain, mercury tells us about syphilitic bone pains. 2-Kali-sulf is the chemical analog for the bad effects or abuse of mercury. That was a history. Now mercury is no more used in that manner. Aggravation is from cold in general, cold air, cold wet weather, suppressed menstruation, eruption, and sweat. We have amelioration from moving about like ferrum met and rustox. So friends, this is the text in 10 central ideas representing in PQR or red line symptoms from Ellen's keynote. Thanks. Thank you very much for watching. So please share and care.